Okay, everyone, I have taken off all of the pieces of the tension assembly, the discs, the spring, and then there's also a check disc. And what I do is when I take these off, if you're new to this and you haven't done it before, the best thing to do, I know it sounds obvious, but take the pieces off in a certain order because they come off in a certain way. And if they're in the right order, and I've found them out of order before, but assuming they're in the right order, simply place them in a place like a tray. I have a metal tray I use so I don't lose parts. And put them in that same order so that when you put them back, you don't have to reconstruct that. I just wanted to show you, this is one of the two tension discs from this machine. It was nickel-plated steel and from 1906. Now, I took photos, and you can see with the rag here, I took some metal polish, and they weren't bad. They really were not corroded. There was some light micro-oxidation that often happens with machine parts, but a lot of it was old. Someone had put oil in here or something. Anyway, I took a metal polish just to take off anything. They look really beautiful now. And then I also took 1 drop of sewing machine oil and I spread it over both parts, and then I took a rag and buffed it off. That's not a place you normally lubricate a sewing machine, okay? So in the normal use of the machine, don't ever put oil in your tension assembly. You say, well, why are you doing it? I'm doing this because I wanted to take the oil and buff the metal with it and kind of give it a little bit of a seal. Just it kind of helps protect the metal in the future. This is more of using the oil like a polish. So don't ever make that a part of your normal oiling. And so, of course, your tension discs, they look like little bagels or donuts. They come together, okay? So the concave sides come together like this, and then they're going to slide right onto the tension shaft. The next item I've got here is, it's also a disc, but it's not where your thread goes. This piece is a place, it's designed to go on, it's part of a washer, and it really sort of is like an, I'm sure I put it here where you guys can see. It's an offset washer, and now some of your later vintage machines, when you take the assembly apart, you may not see something that looks exactly like this. For example, when I restored those with numbered dials, they have slightly different parts, but they all work on the same principle. The main thing to do is to make sure you have all the parts, because I've got machines where there was a part missing, and also make sure that they are in the right order. So, for example, this tension spring has, if you think of it like a little let's see, trying to get in front of the camera here, like a little teacup. This one goes like this, right, with the flat side facing to the right, and that's how it was when I took it off. And last but not least, we're going to put our thumb screw or check screw. I'm just making up that name there. Thumb screw, set screw. Now, again, sewing machine oil is not something that normally, let's get back here, is not something that normally goes in a tension assembly. But notice this, the threads on this tension shaft, you know, they're very dry, right? And I can put a drop inside this the threads of this screw. And I think I'll just do that. And then that's all I need. And again, it's not a normal oiling point. That's just, these are all restoration uses of sewing machine oil, okay? So don't confuse that with regular maintenance. Now, I'm just sliding it back on. It slid off before, and there was probably some old residual oil. But again, metal devices need oil. They need sewing machine oil. So now I'm just testing it. Everything seems to work fine. And, of course, I took the pin out. There's a photo I took of the pin. I took it out. I simply slid it out, came right out with all these pieces off, and I cleaned it. I cleaned it with alcohol. The pin is not an area, if it's stuck, you can put maybe some of the, those cleaners that will not lubricate, that will loosen old stuck screws and things. I use that. Some people use WD-40. I use liquid wrench. But again, I'm outside. I don't like using those products inside. So to loosen it, but I don't oil the pin because the tolerances are so tight, the oil could actually prevent it from sliding. So now I've got my pieces all back together here. Now, when you look at it from the side, again, when I come up, it's going to loosen my discs, and then when I come down, it's going to tighten them. So that's essentially the cleaning of this tension assembly. And let's see, now now that I've done these pieces, and you'll notice I still haven't polished this, I'm going to make a decision. Do I want to polish this beautiful scroll work and bring it back to a brighter look? I'm not sure. I know I'm going to clean this, and that's going to be a separate video, because it seems like it would be the easiest thing to do on a vintage sewing machine, but it's not as easy as you might think. I do save it for last because it's very rewarding. But sometimes less is more. There are people who have ruined the finishes of sewing machines from the vintage period trying to clean them or restore them. You have to be very careful with things like decals, but I'll go over that in a separate video section. But anyway, this was me taking apart and just cleaning and giving general respect to a device that has worked for over 100 years and probably hasn't seen much maintenance. Maybe a little bit, but not a lot. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll come up with the next installment as I move through it. I'm making my way through the full restoration of a 1906 Singer 15. Thanks.